Good morning, children. In the last class, we all learned about means of transport in plants, isn't it? Means of transport in plants are diffusion, active transport, osmosis, plasmolysis and imbibition. What is diffusion? The movement of molecules in liquid and solid from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration without utilization of energy. That is diffusion, isn't it? No. But active transport utilizes energy to pump the molecules against concentration gradient. Then what is osmosis? Movement of solvent or water molecules from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Then what about plasmolysis? It occurs when water moves out of the cell. Then what is imbibition? It's a type of diffusion in which a solid absorbs water and it swells up, isn't it? Now, type of movement of water into the root cells. That is two pathway we have been learned already. That is apoplast pathway and symplast pathway. In apoplast pathway, the movement of water is through cell wall as well as the intercellular spaces. But in symplast pathway, movement of water through the cytoplasm of the cell, isn't it? Now, we are going to learn about the next process, that is transpiration. What is it, ma? Transpiration. You all know what is transpiration, isn't it? Evaporation of water or loss of excess water evaporated through the stomata of the leaf. That is called transpiration. What is transpiration? Transpiration is the evaporation of water in plants through stomata of the leaves. Yes, you must know what are stomata. What are stomata? Stomata are minute pores which are present on the lower surface of the leaf. These are the organs of transpiration and gaseous exchange. Now, what is transpiration? The evaporation of water. The transpiration is the evaporation of water in leaves through the stomata. What are stomata? Stomata are minute pores which are present on the lower surface of the leaf, isn't it? The stomata are open in day and closed at night. The opening and closing of stomata is due to the turgidity of the guard cells. Listen, now you have to know the structure of stomata. Each stomata is having an opening called stoma, and it is surrounded by guard cells. What is that? Guard cells. These guard cells contain cytoplasm, chloroplast, vacuole and nucleus. So, when the guard cells the opening and closing of stomata is due to the turgidity of the guard cell. When water enters into the guard cells, the stoma opened. It becomes turgid and the stoma opened. When the water comes out of the guard cells, it becomes flaccid and the stoma closes. So, the opening and closing of stomata is due to the turgidity of the guard cells. You all know what is mesophyll, isn't it? What is mesophyll? The leaf tissue is called mesophyll. When water evaporates from the mesophyll cells of the leaf, it lowers the water concentration in the mesophyll. So, water evaporates from the mesophyll results in lower water concentration in the mesophyll. As a result, what will happen? Water from the xylem enters into the mesophyll by a process called osmosis. So therefore, a pressure is created inside the leaf or at the top. A pressure is created. As water lost from the leaves, a pressure is created inside the mesophyll. It is due to transpiration or loss of water or evaporation of water creates a pressure inside the leaf. That is called a transpiration pull. Transpiration pull. Because of transpiration, a pressure is created inside the mesophyll tissue. That is called transpiration pull. This pull or this pressure extends up to the roots and help the roots to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil, and it can ensure continuous flow of water from roots to the leaves. Next, the transpiration process is affected by factors such as internal and external. What are the external factors that affects the rate of transpiration? That is light, temperature, humidity and wind speed. The external factors that affects the rate of transpiration are this temperature, light, humidity and wind speed. The internal factors which affects the rate of transpiration are number and distribution of stomata, percentage of open stomata, water status of the plant as well as canopy structure. These are the internal factors which affects the rate of transpiration. Next, about the importance of transpiration. First one is transpiration creates transpiration pull for the transport of water. What is the first one? First importance is that transpiration creates transpiration pull for the transport of water to the plant. Then it supplies water for photosynthesis. That is the second importance. The second importance is that it supplies water for photosynthesis. Then third importance is it transports minerals from soil to all parts of the plant. Okay, it transports minerals from soil to all parts of the plant. Then it cools the surface of the leaf, or it cools the surface of the leaves by evaporation. That's the fourth importance. Then the fifth importance is that it can keep the cells turgid, hence it maintains their shape. These are the importance of transpiration. So you must know what is transpiration, which organs are responsible for transpiration, what are the importance of transpiration, what are the factors affecting transpiration. Okay, ma'am? Now, importance of transpiration. First importance is transpiration process creates transpiration pull for the transport of water. Then it supplies water for photosynthesis. Then it transports minerals from soil to all parts of the plant. Then fourth importance is it can keep the surface of the leaf cool, or cools the surface of the leaf by evaporation. Then it can keep the cells turgid and thus maintain their shape. Next, about root pressure. We all know that soil water contains ions, isn't it? This as iron from the soil are actually transported into the vascular tissues of the root. Water moves along and increases the pressure inside. So this water, soil water is present along with the ions. This iron as well as water when enters into the root cells, vascular tissues, it maintains a pressure. It creates a pressure inside, that is called root pressure. So this pressure created inside a root, that is root pressure. So when as ions from the soil are actually transported into the vascular tissues of the root, water also moves along with that the soil ions. It increases the pressure inside the root, that is called root pressure. Okay, this root pressure is responsible for pushing water into the stem to a smaller height. Now we can demonstrate this root pressure by a small experiment. Take a thin weak stemmed plant and cut the surface of the plant horizontally, and in the morning, so after a few minutes, you can see the water excluded the cut end of the stem because of root pressure. Okay. Now, uptake of minerals. Plants depend on minerals from soil for their nutritional requirements. Soil water contain nutrients. So, plants depend on soil water for their nutritional requirements. All the nutrients are not absorbed by the plants by active transport. So, all minerals cannot absorb passively by the plants. There are two reasons. One is minerals found in soil as charged particles. There are two reasons. The sun, all the minerals found in soil are not absorbed by the plants by active transport, because this minerals found in soil as charged particle. Second one is the concentration of minerals in the soil is usually lower than that of the concentration of minerals present in the root. So, minerals present in the soil is, the concentration of minerals present in the soil is lower than that of the concentration of minerals found in the root. Therefore, most of the minerals are not absorbed by the plants by active transport. So therefore, most of the minerals enter into the root by active absorption. So this active absorption need energy in the form of ATP. Listen, all minerals cannot be absorbed passively. Most of the minerals enter into the root cell by active absorption. This active absorption need energy in the form of ATP. Therefore, so the cells utilizes ATP to transport the substances across the membrane. Then it is transported to the all parts by transpiration pull. Then minerals, translocation of mineral elements. Minerals are transported from older leaves to younger leaves. It is in deciduous plants. So minerals are remobilized or transported from old dying leaves to the young leaves. The minerals such as phosphorus, sulfur, potassium and nitrogen, these are easily mobilized from older dying leaves to the young leaves. But calcium is not like that. Small amounts of materials exchange takes place through the xylem and phloem. Next, phloem transport. What is the meaning of, what is the function of phloem? Phloem conducts the food material, isn't it? Phloem conducts food material. Which part of the plant prepare the food? The leaf prepare the food. The leaf prepare the food is translocated to each and every part of the plant body through the phloem element. So, phloem transports food from a source to a sink. Source to a sink. What is the source? The part of the plant which prepare the food is the source. So, what is the source? Leaf is the source. Leaf is the source that prepare the food. Then sink, the part of the plant wherever the food is needed, that is sink, or food is stored, that is sink. Okay. So the transport of food material through phloem is upward and downward. So it is bidirectional. Bidirectional. The transport of food takes place through phloem is bidirectional, but the transport of water from root to the aerial parts of the plant is unidirectional, that is upward movement. So, root absorbs water and mineral salts from the soil. It has to transport it to the aerial parts and upward direction. That is unidirectional. So movement of water through xylem is unidirectional. Movement of food materials through phloem is bidirectional. Okay. So the phloem transfers food from a source to sink. The source is the part of the leaf that prepare the food. Part of the plant that prepare the food, that is leaf. Then sink is the part that needs or stores food. The movement of food material through phloem is bidirectional because leaves prepare the food. It has to translocate to each and every part of the plant body through upward and downward direction. So the movement is bidirectional. But xylem, this root absorbs water. It has to transport it through the aerial parts of the plant body through the xylem elements. So the movement of water in xylem is unidirectional or upward movement. Next, translocation of sugars. What do you mean by translocation? The bulk movement of substances through the vascular tissue. The bulk movement of substances through the vascular tissue is the translocation. So, this translocation. Phloem contains water, you already know, isn't it, mom? This the food prepared by the plant is glucose, isn't it? This when it is glucose is converted into sucrose. Then sucrose move through the companion cells. Phloem consists of sieve tubes and companion cells. Phloem consists of sieve tubes and companion cells. The food what's the plant prepared is glucose. It is converted into sucrose. The sucrose pass through the sieve tubes and companion cells by active transport. So through the phloem, the sucrose is transported through the phloem elements. Phloem consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, etc. Through this sucrose is transported. So the concentration or the concentration is high, or phloem produces a high. Inside the phloem, there will be the concentration is hypertonic. So nearby xylem elements contains water to the phloem by osmosis. Thus, osmotic pressure buildup, the phloem sap moves to the areas of lower pressure. So by active transport, the sucrose moves into the cells where it is utilized and stored. Next, about ascent of sap. Ascent of sap. The upward movement of water and minerals from the roots to different parts of the plant body is called ascent of sap. Ascent of sap is nothing but the upward movement of water and minerals from roots to different parts of the plant body. A number of factors play an important role in ascent of sap. One is root pressure. So when water enters into the root, it creates a pressure inside the root. That is because of this movement, a pressure is created inside the root. It helps the movement of water upward up to the base of the stem. Listen, what is ascent of sap? This upward movement of water and minerals from root to different parts of the plant body, that is ascent of sap. Several factors are responsible for ascent of sap. First one is root pressure. Next is cohesion and adhesion of water molecules. Then another one is capillary action. There are several factors are responsible for ascent of sap is nothing but upward movement of water and minerals from the root to the other parts of the plant body. Several factors are responsible for ascent of sap. One is root pressure. Another one is capillary action. Third one is adhesion and cohesion. Adhesion and cohesion of water molecules. These are the factors responsible for the ascent of sap. What is ascent of sap? Upward movement of water and minerals. That from root to other parts of the plant is ascent of sap. These are the factors responsible for ascent of sap. Root pressure. Water from the soil is absorbed by the roots. So a pressure created inside. This pressure is responsible for the upward movement of water. Next, capillary action. This water or any liquid rises in the capillary tube because of physical force. Because of certain physical forces, the water rises in the capillary tube. So this capillary action rises in the tube. Because of this capillary action or a physical force, water enters into the xylem vessels. That is also responsible for ascent of sap. Then adhesion and cohesion of water molecules. What is because of adhesion, water molecules form a continuous column. Then the force of cohesion is the force of attraction between water molecules. This force of attraction between water molecules also help to ascend the sap or help to rise the water inside a vessel. Next, adhesion, the force of attraction between molecules of different substances, because soil contain soil minerals, water, etc. So this adhesion is the force of attraction between molecules of different substances. That is adhesion. Cohesion is the force of attraction between water molecules. These are the factors responsible for ascent of sap. What is ascent of sap? The upward movement of water and minerals from soil to all parts of the plant. That is ascent of sap. These are the several factors which are responsible for ascent of sap: root pressure, capillary action, adhesion and cohesion. These are the factors responsible for ascent of sap. First is root pressure. Soil water enters into the root hairs due to osmosis. The root pressure is responsible for the ascent of sap or movement of water upwards. Because of this root pressure, water rises up into the base of the stem. Next, capillary action. This water or any liquid rises in the capillary tube because of certain physical forces. Then adhesion, the force of attraction between molecules of different substances. Next, cohesion is force of attraction between water molecules. These factors are responsible for ascent of sap. You all know what is transpiration pull, isn't it? A pressure created because of transpiration. That is transpiration pull. This next is, so when climate is humid, excess of water is present in the leaf or the plant is exudated in the form of liquid. Exudated out in the form of liquid. That process is called guttation. When the climate is humid, the excess water is exudated in the form of or comes out in the form of liquid. That is called guttation. It takes place through a special structure called hydrothodes. Guttation takes place through the special structures called hydrothodes. So, children, you all learned about transpiration. What are the factors affecting the rate of transpiration? What are the importance of transpiration? What is root pressure? Then movement of ions, movement of transportaion, phloem. Next, ascent of sap. What are the factors are responsible for ascent of sap? Okay, you all turn to page 214. How to mark the answer for this question. Roman number 6, short answer. Question number 1. What causes the opening and closing of guard cells of stomata during transpiration? Take page 202. Under the heading transpiration, third line, the opening and closing of stomata is due to the change in turgidity of guard cells up to stoma closes. Up to that you mark it. Then Roman number 6, question number 2. What is cohesion? Answer is there in page 204. What is cohesion? Answer is there in 204. The force of attraction between molecules of water is called cohesion. Next, trace the pathway followed by water molecules from time it enters the plant root to the time it escapes into the atmosphere from a leaf. It's there in page 204, figure 14.8. See the figure, ascent of sap. So water enters into the root here by a process osmosis, isn't it? Next, this adhesion cohesion makes the column of water molecules. Root pressure pushes the water to the stem. Transpiration creates transpiration pull. That is that is the answer for this question. Pathway, this water molecules, how it water molecules, how it enters into a plant root by osmosis. Osmosis pushes the water to root hair. Then transpiration creates transpiration pull. Because of transpiration, excess water evaporates out. So because of root pressure, root pressure pushes the water inside the stem. Next one, long answer question. Question number 2, Roman number 8, question number 2, what is transpiration? Give the importance of transpiration. What is transpiration? Give the importance of transpiration. Answer is there in page 202 and 203. 202, the definition is there. Mark it. Transpiration is the evaporation of water in plants through stomata in the leaves. The next page, importance of transpiration, 5 points are there that you mark it. Next question, what would happen to the leaves of a plant that transfers more water than its absorption in the roots? When transpiration exceeds than water absorption by roots, write down the answer there. When transpiration exceeds than water absorption by roots, the plant dehydrates. It affects plant processes such as growth, photosynthesis and transpiration. You all have to learn these answers and write down in your notebook. Okay. Thank you children. We can meet again in the next class.